Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host, Chris Romeo. And today I will talk about the Denver Nuggets on how they're looking so far this after the All Star break. As they sit at 47-24 at first place in the West still, with 11 games to go in the NBA season. And where they sit right now, Nuggets are in a little bit of a slump right now. This is the point of the season where you don't want to get in a slump with any basketball team, especially with other teams heating up in the Western Conference. And the Nuggets' competition when they're in the playoffs is going to be they're going to have some competition for sure. But oh, by the way, I went to the Nuggets Pistons game in Detroit on Thursday. Nuggets got the dub, 119-100. Uh, that's their only game they've won in the last like six games. Nuggets have lost 5 of their last 6, which isn't good. A lot of that's on their defense and rebounding. And it's tough stretch of games. But the reason why is because their defense, it hasn't really been good all year. It was starting to get better for a while heading into the All Star break, with Kentavious Caldwell Pope playing really good defense and like other guys chipping in. It's just hasn't been the same the past 6 games. Our offense still scores fine, but it hasn't scored in key moments down the stretch. Jokic, he's still having a great year and stuff, but he needs to have help around him. So to look at it like this, the Nuggets, they've had a great season. And they're still first place in the West by 4 games ahead of Sacramento and the Memphis Grizzlies. Sacramento Kings, Memphis Grizzlies. And they're 4 games ahead of them with 11 games to go. They're starting to heat. Those 2 teams are starting to heat up. We want to, make sure we keep a big lead so we can clinch that 1 seed. By the way, the Nuggets have already clinched a playoff spot. They're the first team in the Western Conference to clinch a playoff spot. Worst case scenario, the Nuggets drop down to a 4 seed or 3 seed at most. Right now, Nuggets, they've had a good season going to the All Star break. They're looking really good. Had a great home record. They were 30-4 at one point at home. Dominating team, playing really good in the clutch. Jokic, Murray, Michael Porter Jr. at times, even though he's inconsistent, and that was without Aaron Gordon. Our offense is good. It's mainly just our defense right now, for sure. Our offense is still one of the best in the leagues. It's, if not number 1, it's definitely top 5. With if Jokic gets the help around him, and Jokic, he's a great player. I mean, he dropped to number 2 in the MVP race because the Nuggets have been struggling lately. But yeah, so at 47-24, there's pros to it and cons to it. The Nuggets, they've struggled lately, losing 5 of their last 6, and it's not the time of the season. It's not the time that you want to be losing games, especially with other teams heating up. Your competition is going to be really good in the playoffs, and even if they'll get a high seed no matter what. But it's going to be tough if they play the Mavericks, and since the Nuggets do have the 1 seed, they're probably going to have to play someone from the play-in tournament. They could play the Warriors, Lakers, Mavericks, Clippers, any of those teams who are in a very tight race. I wouldn't mind. I would hopefully we'd play the Thunder or Timberwolves, because I think we would beat the Thunder and Timberwolves in like 5 or 6 in the first round. The Nuggets, they just have a lot of work to do. They've had a good season. This 6-game stretch, it happens to every NBA team, I think. The bad part is about the Nuggets right now. Their defense is very good, and they're going to have a lot of competition in the playoffs. Doesn't mean they can't go all the way, but they're just going to have a lot of competition. Um, the good thing is, the Nuggets have clinched a playoff spot already. They're the first team in the West to do it. Only two other teams in the league have clinched a playoff spot: the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think the Celtics clinched a playoff spot. I'm not sure. Um, another good thing is, this is, if you want to have a cold stretch, do it right now. There's still 11 games left in the regular season. They've been great all year. They're 4 games ahead of the Grizzlies and Kings. Even if those teams go ahead of them, they'll still be in the playoffs. And Jokic is number 2 in the MVP race. He could easily be number 1, possibly. And another good thing is, every team goes through the NBA slumps. Think about the Golden State Warriors, who won the championship last year. They started off the season great. They had an awesome first half of the season. Steph was playing out of his mind. They were like 41-18, like the Nuggets were at the first half of the season. Guess how they did the second half of the season? They lost like 10 of their last 15 games. That's a rough estimate, but the Warriors, they didn't have a good second half of the season. They dropped all the way down to number 3, which is possible for the Nuggets, but I hope we stay at number 1. The Warriors, they got hot at the right time in the playoff, bounced the Nuggets in 5, went to the championship, and won it eventually. So, the Nuggets, they have all the potential, I think. I mean, Jokic, he's MVP. He's, he's one of the best players in the league, I think. Jamal Murray, if he stays healthy. Michael Porter Jr., if he's more consistent. Aaron Gordon, I think he plays a lot of power. And they have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who can play defense. That's their starting 5. Another weakness for the Nuggets is their bench. I'll get into that later. But, I mean, the Nuggets, they'll get a high seed in the playoffs. The question is, how will they do in the playoffs? And, the Nuggets have never been to a championship before. So, the Nuggets, they'll be fine. 5 of their last 6 games losing, that's not a big deal. But you got to look at the bright side about it, that they're still going to get in the playoffs. You just got to, it's going to depend. And also another thing, so the Nuggets, they've made it to the playoffs. This is going to be their 5th year in a row making it to the playoffs. And their first time in the playoffs in 2019, brand new team, Jamal Murray, Jokic. They made it past the first round, but they played in the second round against Portland. Lost in 7 games. Great series. One of those games went into 4 overtimes. And they lost in 7. Portland went on to the Western Conference, lost to the eventual NBA champs. Second year in the playoffs. This was in the bubble. The Nuggets, they're down 3-1 to the Jazz in the first round. They came back and won that series. They were down by 10 points in all 3 of those games when they came back from 3-1. Played the Clippers in the second round. They were down 3-1. Guess what happened? Same thing, down 3-1 against the Clippers. Came all the way back. They were down by 10 points at least in all 3 of those games. Rallied back and beat the Clippers. That was epic to see. Nuggets were going to the Western Conference Finals in the bubble with Jamal Murray going off. In the bubble, in the Western Conference Finals, they played the Lakers. Lakers dominated everyone with LeBron and Anthony Davis that year. Lakers beat the Nuggets in 5, went on to win the championship. Nuggets lost to the eventual NBA champions. Guess what happens the next year? Nuggets lose Jamal Murray for the season due to injury, tore his ACL. Played the Portland Trailblazers in the first round, beat them in 6. Damian Lillard went off, but Nuggets were still able to beat them in 6. Good series, good team effort by the Nuggets. In the second round, played the Phoenix Suns. No Jamal Murray. Suns killed us, swept us in 4 games. Suns were playing out of their mind with Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Not a healthy Nuggets team. Guess what? Suns go to the championship and lose to the Bucks. Then last year, last year wasn't really a good year for the Nuggets. They didn't have Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray the entire season pretty much. Jokic played literally on his own the whole season. And Nuggets, they only get a 6 seed going into the playoffs. play the Warriors in the first round, get bounced in 5. But the thing is about that series, Jokic was the only player on the Nuggets that was really good. I mean, Aaron Gordon was there, but he didn't even have a good series. And the Warriors, the Warriors blew out the Nuggets in Game 1 and Game 2, but Game 3 and Game 4 in Denver, both of those games were close. Nuggets almost got swept, but beat the Warriors to extend the series into a Game 5. Jokic had a great series, and it was all about Jokic. And then in Game 5 last year, we were winning most of the game against the Warriors, playing very well, playing decent defense, but our offense couldn't score enough because they didn't have the pieces around Jokic, Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. Warriors won last year and beat us in 5 games. And guess what happened? The Warriors won the championship. So the point about that is the last 3 years, when the Nuggets have lost in the playoffs, they've lost to at least a team that's went to the championship. So you can't tell me the Nuggets don't have, just because they've lost 5 out of the last 6 doesn't mean they don't have the potential to go far in the playoffs and go all the way. Sure, they'll have competition, but yeah, I mean, as long as they stay healthy, they have good as chance as anybody. They have a good a chance as the Suns with Kevin Durant. They have as good a chance, because the Suns still have some stuff to prove, even though they've been playing very well lately. They have as good a chance as the Grizzlies with Ja Morant coming back. They have a better chance than the Kings, I would say. They have maybe just as good a chance as the Warriors. I mean, they've struggled. They've been up and down the season, but I predicted going into this year there'd be Nuggets Warriors Western Conference Finals, and it still could happen. I would say the 4 teams in the West that are the biggest threat to the Denver Nuggets are the Warriors, the Suns, and the Grizzlies. So that's 3 teams. Yeah, those are the 3 teams that are the biggest threat. And the rest, if the Nuggets play defense and play complementary basketball in the West, I think they should beat the Kings. They should beat the Clippers, even though they have a lot of potential to the Clippers, but they never get it done in the playoffs. They've only been in the Western Conference Finals once. So if they play complementary basketball, they should beat the Kings, Clippers. I think they should beat the Mavericks too. Just even though Kyrie is there with Luka, the Nuggets beat the Mavericks with no Jokic and no Jamal Murray at Dallas this year. So yeah, I think there's 3 teams in the West that could give the Nuggets problems, but other than that, I think the Nuggets should at least make it to the second round. The way they've played this year, I think they should. I don't see why they don't go to the Western Conference Finals. And then, if they play the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, this will be a healthy Nuggets team. Then the Nuggets could possibly get past the Warriors with a healthy team, go to their first ever NBA championship. And will they win the championship? I mean, they'll either play the Celtics or the Bucks in the NBA championship. Nobody else in the East is going to get past the Celtics and Bucks, I don't think. The only problem is the Nuggets just don't match up well against those teams. I mean, Giannis and the Bucks, they're mostly around Giannis, and they've had a terrific regular season. The Bucks have. So I think they would match up well against the Bucks, because the Bucks and Nuggets are similar teams, and that would be a great finals to watch. Against the Celtics, they wouldn't match up well against the Celtics because the Celtics play really good defense, and they have really good defensive players like Al Horford, who can guard Jokic. They have Jason Tatum, who can possibly guard Jamal Murray, and they get Jaylen Brown, who, I don't think they would match up well against the Celtics, but it doesn't mean they can't beat them. And they already beat the Celtics once at home this year. They lost at Boston, but the Nuggets, they've lost 5 of their last 6. They'll be okay. They're still 47-24, still first place in the West by 4 games. So they got a lot of potential, but this last 11 games, they just got to finish strong, play good defense, and get some help around Jokic, and they should be all right. But that's my breakdown about the Nuggets on where they stand right now with 11 games left in the regular season. Let me know in your comments how I broke down the Nuggets and what you think about the Nuggets going forward. If they stay healthy, they hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, they should stay healthy. But and the Avalanche, they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. They're playing really good. They're playing very good, just like the Nuggets are cold right now, but Avalanche are playing very, very well and starting to heat up and maybe make another cup run. But yeah, hopefully the Nuggets can finish the last 11 games strong. They'll get in the playoffs, and hopefully they can play very well in the playoffs to go to their first, hopefully, NBA championship. I think they have the potential. But that's it, everybody. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good Denver. Go Nuggets, go Avalanche.